What if I told you the biggest story in music right now isn't the rap beef, it's the escape plan? Because while everybody was distracted, arguing online, something very strange may have just happened behind the scenes. Drake allegedly dropped three separate albums in one night. Not just songs, not just vibes, contracts. And if the reports are true, he may have just completed his obligation to Universal Music Group in less than 24 hours. Meaning, while the internet was busy debating lyrics, Drake may have been quietly walking out the front door with the keys. And suddenly, that glitter glove on the cover starts looking a lot less random. Because this story didn't start with Drake, this story goes all the way back to Michael Jackson, Prince, Nicki Minaj, Kanye West. Artists who learned one terrifying truth. The moment you become bigger than the machine starts trying to humble you. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson figured something out before almost everybody else. Fame is nice, ownership is better. See, most artists were focused on selling records. Michael was focused on buying catalogs. That's a completely different mindset. Everybody else wanted to be the biggest performer. Michael wanted to become the landlord. So while the world saw sequins, moonwalks, and stadiums, Michael was quietly buying publishing rights. Then came the move that shocked everybody. He purchased ATV Music Publishing, which included the Beatles catalog, meaning every time Beatles music played, Michael Jackson got paid. That changed the entire conversation because artists weren't supposed to become that powerful. And suddenly, Drake wearing the glitter glove starts to feel symbolic. Like he's signaling, I studied the blueprint. Prince. Then came Prince. Prince realized the problem wasn't just ownership, it was the contract itself. Warner Brothers essentially owned the commercial identity of Prince. So, what did he do? He changed his name into a symbol. At the time, people laughed, thought he was eccentric, thought he was losing it. But Prince was making a statement. If the industry turns artists into products, then maybe the only way to survive is to become something they cannot package. That's why he wrote slave on his face. Not because he lacked money, because he understood control. And years later, almost every artist warning us about the industry is repeating things Prince said decades ago. Nicki Minaj. Now, fast forward into the social media era because Nicki Minaj revealed something else. The gatekeepers are weaker now. Whether people agree with her politics or not, that's not even the interesting part. The interesting part is this: the industry narrative turned against her publicly, and her fan base stayed loyal anyway. That's new. Old Hollywood worked because they controlled the magazines, the interviews, the radio, the headlines. But social media changed the architecture. Now, an artist can speak directly to millions of people instantly. Nicki's fan base operates less like casual listeners and more like a digital nation. And the industry still hasn't fully figured out how to deal with that. Kanye West. Then there's Kanye, possibly the most publicly rejected artist of the modern era, and somehow still capable of filling stadiums. That alone tells you something fundamental has shifted. Because historically, once the machine turned on you publicly, you disappeared. But Kanye didn't disappear. And those massive performances at SoFi Stadium felt almost dystopian. Minimal stage design, darkness, isolation, fire, masks, ritual energy, not polished celebrity culture. It looked more like the collapse of celebrity culture, almost like civilization itself had wandered into performance art. And whether people loved it or hated it, they watched. Drake, which brings us back to Drake, because now people are asking, did Drake just outmaneuver the label system in real time? 3 albums, 3 SoundScan codes, one night. And suddenly the conversation shifts from who won the beef to who owns the future. Because if these reports are true, Drake may have figured out something enormous. In the old system, artists wanted approval. In the new system, artists want leverage. And maybe that's what connects all these artists together. Michael Jackson, Prince, Nicki Minaj, Kanye West, Drake. Different eras, different personalities, different controversies, but all of them eventually collided with the same thing: the machine. And the most fascinating artists aren't always the ones who sing the best. Sometimes they're the ones who figure out how to walk away with the masters, the audience, and the power. So maybe this isn't really a story about music at all. Maybe we're watching the collapse of the old gatekeeper era in real time. And maybe that glitter glove wasn't nostalgia. Maybe it was a warning.